analysis of urban growth in Ahmedabad city. So this study basically tells us how urban growth can be monitored by using remote sensing and GIS in a temporal manner. The aim of the study was to assess the increase in impervious surfaces due to urban growth. And there are four main objectives of this study. Land use land cover change assessment from 2011 to 21, measuring of dispersed growth using different indices, then mapping of increase in impervious surfaces using spectral index, and later on comparing the dispersed areas in relation to impervious surfaces. So for this Landsat data of Landsat 5 and Landsat 8 was used at a 30-meter resolution. This is the overall methodology of the study. Firstly, after data collection, basic pre-processing of Landsat data was done and was clipped using the study area shapefile. And the methodology has been divided into three main sections. First is LULC, for which the whole area has been divided into four main classes: built-up area, water bodies, vegetation, and bare soil. Second is landscape indices, which is use of Shannon's entropy and continuity index. And third section is mapping of impervious surfaces using NDII, that is the normalized difference impervious index. The last section is to compare the dispersed areas with NDII and what precautionary measures can be done to mitigate the impacts of these impervious surfaces. So the results of land use land cover change show that overall there is an 15% increase in built-up area in this decade, and mostly bare soil has been converted into the built-up area. To delve into more this section, the area change from 2011-21 shows that mostly vegetation was converted into bare soil and bare soil was converted into built-up. So here we can see the red areas show that bare soil has been converted into built-up, and other classes also have been converted into built-up area. To assess the growth pattern, the first index used was Shannon's entropy. So here the area was divided into three main sections using a 5-kilometer buffer from the central business district of the city. Here we can clearly see that mostly the growth has occurred in the peripheral areas, and from the absolute value of entropy, we can clearly see that the dispersed development has taken place. The second index that was used to assess the growth was continuity index. Basically, it tells us about that how the growth has occurred in an unbroken manner or a broken manner. So if the value of the index increases, it shows that the growth has occurred in a continuous manner. And also after overlaying the roads on the built-up sections, we can clearly observe that mostly the growth has occurred in along the major roads, which is also known as ribbon type of development. To extract the impervious surfaces using spectral index, NDII was used, that is a normalized difference impervious index. So clearly we can highlight that over the decade, the impervious surfaces have been increased by observing the gray pixels here. And also there was some sort of bare soil interference in the index. So to correlate the NDI and the growth areas, the pixel difference of both the NDI images was taken, and it was compared with the growth area. So we can clearly see the gray pixels clearly correlate with the built-up area in 2021. So we can conclude that during this decade of urban growth, the impervious surfaces have also been increased in the peripheral areas. And what can be done to mitigate the impacts? Firstly, we can replace the surfaces with permeable pavements, or greener areas can be included in the planning domain. Secondly, this study would also benefit the departments like town planning department of the corporation, and also the development authority.